There is a feeling most of us have had at least once. A quiet voice, the tightness in the chest. A moment where everything in you says, stop and don't do this. I had that feeling 4 times in my life. The first 3 times, I ignored it. The 4th time, I almost didn't survive it. This is not just a scary story. It is the most important lesson I have ever learned. I learned it the hardest possible way. I was 22 in my final year of college, working part-time at a bar 40 minutes from campus. The drive home was always late, 1 a.m. or sometimes closer to 2. The route took me down a stretch of county road with no streetlights, no houses, and no phone signal for 8 miles. I had driven it over 100 times because it was 4 minutes faster than the highway. That is what I traded for what happened. The first time I felt it, I was 3 miles into the dark stretch with a sudden certainty I needed to pull over and lock my doors. My hand moved toward the door lock before I consciously decided to move it. I checked the mirror and the tree line, saw nothing, laughed quietly, turned the radio up, and kept driving. 6 weeks later, the feeling came back stronger, and my foot lifted off the accelerator before I told it to. My hands moved to the door lock on their own, and I scanned the mirrors and tree line but saw nothing. I drove faster until the gas station lights appeared and the feeling dissolved in the fluorescent glow. 2 months later, in February, my headlights caught a dark, still shape on the shoulder, and I slowed to find a deer already dead. That night, the feeling was so loud, I said out loud, I know, and drove past it anyway. My roommate told me to take a different route, but I refused because it added 20 minutes. In March, on a Friday night, I turned onto the county road at 1:40 a.m. and the feeling started before I reached the dark stretch. At the last intersection, my entire body said stop. Not slow down, but stop. And I kept driving. 2 miles in, my headlights found a car parked sideways across both lanes with no lights, engine off, and no reason to be there. I hit the brakes hard enough to skid on the wet road and stopped 30 feet short. I sat with the engine running and wipers going, staring. Every instinct I had been ignoring arriving at once. I threw the car into reverse. In my headlights, 2 men stepped out of the tree line and walked toward the car with a calm more terrifying than running. I reversed for a quarter mile before finding room to turn around and drove to the gas station, shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I called 911, and police later found the parked car reported stolen 2 days earlier, but never found the men. The officer told me I was lucky I stopped when I did, and I did not tell him it was the 4th time I'd felt that on that road. I did not tell him about the 3 times I hadn't listened. I took the longer route after that, the one that added 20 minutes. Now I know that your instincts are not your imagination, but pattern recognition your conscious mind has not caught up to yet. Thousands of years of survival information delivered to you in a fraction of a second as a feeling. That feeling does not care about your schedule. It does not care about convenience. It only knows right now. Every time I ignored that voice, I put myself in danger. The last time, I nearly paid for it completely. Same road in daylight, bright and ordinary. Calm drive, hands relaxed. Slow fade to black. The next time you feel it, that quiet, inconvenient, insistent voice, you do not need a reason to listen. The feeling is the reason. Trust it, even when nothing looks wrong. Subscribe.